Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the portfolio. Welcome back to the channel. Great to have everyone back on the YouTube series. As I do with all my videos, I want to first say thank you to all the viewers and all the subscribers supporting the channel. Immensely appreciate that. For today's video, I thought I'd go ahead and take a look at the last 1 week's worth of performance on the Robinhood portfolio, and then talk about the second largest holding in the portfolio, Ford Motor Company. Importantly, it has an ex-dividend date coming up next week, meaning if you want to jump into the stock to receive its dividend, you'll have to do that before 8/10 of next week. That will be Wednesday. If you do buy it before Wednesday, you'll receive 15 cents per share, which will be payable on September 1st. But before we take a look at Ford's dividend, let's go ahead and take a look at the portfolio. If we take a look at the 1 week graph here, you can see very nice rebound, 8.69% in the green, 46,682. So the portfolio has been rebounding quite nicely here. If we scroll down, these are all of the current options that I have in the portfolio. I'll be doing a dedicated video talking about exactly what my strategy is with these options. Importantly, I'm only selling off contracts, selling off calls, selling off puts. I'm not buying contracts. Yes, you can make quite a bit more money by buying options, but unfortunately, it's much more risky as well. And I've been doing quite well just by selling off covered calls and cash secured puts. So I'll talk about that in another video. But let's scroll down to Ford Motor Company. As you can see in the middle of the screen, Ford did end the day down in the red on Friday, 0.91% in the red. You can see I have currently 22,900 shares. If we open up Ford Motor Company in the middle, you can see position 22,900, market value just under 350,000, 348,767, with portfolio diversity of 37%. Again, the second largest holding in the portfolio, and total return 45.71%, 109,411 in the green. If we take a look at the 1 week graph of Ford Motor Company, very nice, strong performance here, 3.96%, and 1 month definitely has been rebounding here quite nicely, 39.66% in the green. For 3 months, you can see the down and then up pattern here. Overall, just 5.33% up. But again, 1 month up 39.66%, which will be an issue with my options trades. As you can see here in the middle of the screen, 231 contracts, current value negative 67,208, total return negative 27,189. That's really not a true return, but it is a negative return, because if I were to buy back these contracts at the current price to make up for the difference between the call contract there in the middle, $13, versus the current price of the stock, $15 plus, I'll have to spend that much money to buy back these contracts to release the obligation of selling it to somebody else at $13 per contract. If we go to the bottom of the screen, I just want to quickly go through the history, because I've been making quite a bit of money selling off covered calls. You can see that one up on top, Ford short call roll, 2,290. Below that, 657. As we talked about on a prior video, I did have a call assignment. Unfortunately, I think it was 1,100 shares. Again, selling off at $12 per share. So I did definitely lose some money there, about $3,500 if you consider 12 versus 15 plus for the current price of the stock, and selling off 1,100 shares. But moving down, 5,040, 2,160. On the bottom, 26.29. So I've made quite a bit of money selling off covered calls. But having said that, I don't want this necessarily called away for a number of reasons. Most importantly, tax considerations. When I do sell off this call, when I do sell off the stock and make it a realized gain, I'll have to pay taxes on those gains, which will be sort of an issue if you have a higher tax bracket. Definitely want to make sure those are long-term capital gains. If we take a look at the graphic up on screen, you can see the tremendous difference between short-term, which would be the income tax bracket. You'll be taxed at whatever your ordinary income tax is for short-term capital gains, versus long-term capital gains and qualified dividends. Up on top, the $408,000 line, reducing your taxes by half, from 40% down to 20%. Long-term capital gains and qualified dividends. Essentially, you want to hold these stocks for the longer term in order to qualify for long-term capital gains 1 year, and qualified dividends, holding it for about 31 days or so before you would make any trades, to make sure you get the 20% tax rate instead of the 40% tax rate. It gets a little bit complicated. I do have other videos that talk about this in detail, both long-term capital gains as well as qualified dividends. I also want to point out here with Ford Motor Company, there are a few nice features on Robinhood. The statistics, unfortunately, I wish it would put in some more of the data regarding dividends, especially ex-dividend date, knowing when you have to buy this stock by, and then also the payment date. It does have a dividend yield on the bottom. I think currently, actually, the dividend yield is 4%. Ford did recently raise its dividend from 10 cents to 15 cents per share, which I think with the current price of Ford is just under 4%. In the middle as well, if you guys are interested, there are some nice features here that go over some of the analysts' opinions on the stock. This is a nice feature here. I go through Vanguard and E-Trade for most of my information, but there is some information here with Robinhood. And then more importantly, if we scroll down to the earnings, you can also have the opportunity to jump into the earnings call. If you click on replay earnings call, you can jump into the earnings call, the download audio, or you can do the presentation as well with the PDF. If we open up the PDF, you can see it goes through the entire presentation. Again, this won't have the audio, but you can go through the audio if you're so inclined. It goes through all of Ford's fundamentals here. A lot of good information. I definitely have read through this a couple times. If you are interested, again, in Ford Motor Company for the longer term, I think this is something important to read. Let's go ahead and go back to the stock. In the middle, there's also a nice little overview of the earnings. Definitely beating earnings on the last earnings call here. But again, let's go over all of the dates here. I have another PowerPoint that I've made in the past. This is also another dedicated video, but I thought I'd quickly review this for maybe investors who aren't quite familiar with dividend dates. So the dividend is announced. These are just hypothetical numbers up on top, but they correlate fairly precisely with Ford Motor Company. Generally, about a month or so before the ex-dividend date, they'll announce the dividend. On the ex-dividend date, this is when it will trade ex-dividend, meaning if you buy it on that date, on the ex-dividend date, or thereafter, you do not qualify for the dividend. For Ford Motor Company, currently that is Wednesday of next week, 8/10. So if you buy the stock on 8/10, you don't qualify for the dividend. So you have to buy it before 8/10. So if you buy it Monday, Tuesday next week, 8/9 will be the last date. You qualify for the dividend. After trading opens up on 8/10, it's ex-dividend. That's the ex-dividend date. You're no longer going to qualify for that dividend. If you want to sell the stock off at that point, you can, and you still get the dividend. So theoretically, if you bought it 8/9, held until the trading opened on 8/10, you can sell it 8/10, and you still qualify for the dividend, even holding it just for an hour. Maybe you bought it an hour before market closed on 8/9. You sell it immediately on 8/10 when the market opens. You still will qualify for the dividend. You just got to make sure you have it held in the portfolio. You buy it before the ex-dividend date, and then hold on the opening day of trading on the ex-dividend date. Record date, that's technically when you will qualify for the dividend, but the ex-dividend date is the more important date. The record date is typically 2 to 3 days after the ex-dividend date, and the payment date can be anytime after that point. With Ford Motor Company, like I said, it's on September 1st. So again, buy the stock before 8/10. You can sell the stock off on 8/10, still qualify for the dividend, which will be paid on September 1st. So just wanted to quickly go through that. Again, Ford Motor Company, I like this longer term. It definitely has been undervalued in my opinion. You can see at one point getting up to $25. I was going to sell it if it got up to $30. Could not pull the trigger. It definitely has trimmed down here quite considerably, but it is rebounding here. I'm going to continue doing covered calls, hoping this stock does not get called away, meaning I have to sell it at $13. I'm rolling out and rolling up with my options. It will reduce the premium that I receive, but again, it will hopefully avoid having the stock called away. It is also very tricky trading dividend stocks with covered calls because the dividend can potentially impact if the shares are called away. I've discussed this on a prior video as well. It gets quite complicated, and I may do another updated video if there is enough interest in the series here, but very risky. Don't want this called away. Ex-dividend date for next week, and I do like this stock for the longer term. So again, just wanted to quickly go over that as well as the portfolio. Again, a very nice week of trading with the portfolio, up 8.68%, 46,679. With that, I'll end this video. Again, if you guys enjoy the video series, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you like the video, we'll see you then.